On March 8th, 2022, Lululemon made a very exciting announcement. They were getting into footwear, and specifically for a woman's foot first. I didn't know this at the time, but a lot of shoes are made for a man's foot first, and then just reduced or made smaller to fit women's feet. But Lululemon went to the effort to discovering what a woman's shoe needs, and they started with the blissful running shoe. Since the blissful running shoe, we have seen different iterations of the blissful running shoe. We've seen an evolution to a different shoe called the Beyond Feel running shoe. There's the Charge Feel workout shoe, the Strong Feel shoe, the Blissful Trail. There are just so many different shoes now from Lululemon, and some of them have come and already phased out. So in this video today, we're gonna look through all of the different styles. We're gonna look into it and see what you think. So I will give my personal thoughts on each shoe, how I have worn them, and we'll get into it. P.S. Don't forget to shop with my link when you're shopping at Lululemon. Woo! Woo! To be honest, I'm pretty sure that I have had every single version of Lululemon's shoes, and the only shoe that I'm not really covering today is the Blissful Trail, because to be honest, I have not used them as frequently as my others. I can't currently find it. But it's also just not as practical of a shoe for someone like me living in New York City. I'm not really going hiking and going on trails very often. Starting off with the Blissful running shoe. Now, this was my very first pair of Blissful running shoes, and full disclosure, Lululemon gifted me this pair of shoes. I was so excited to be able to share this on all of my social channels. If you wanted to check that out, I do believe I have videos that you can see and look them up. The first Blissful running shoe. This was my first pair. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but they're quite dirty because I have worn them so many times. I really like the Blissful 1 shoe. However, it is no longer currently being made. So for the purposes of this video, I'm still gonna be talking about shoes that are not currently made, that you can't currently shop, because this video might help you to realize if you want a new shoe or if you really like your current shoe. So things that I like about the Blissful running shoe. I really like how bouncy they feel. They're comfortable. I don't feel like they're too tight on the upper, and I like the laces, honestly. Overall, I think this is a really great first shoe from Lululemon. It was really comfortable. I walked actually from Harlem all the way down to Houston Street in another video, a YouTube video, and I did sort of a stress test on the shoe, and honestly, they held up. My feet were never sore. Something about this shoe as well is I never had to break them in. Sometimes when I'm wearing shoes for the first time, if I'm wearing them, let's say 8 hours walking all day in New York City, sometimes they don't feel so great on my feet after a while, but this never happened to me with the Blissful 1. So I don't know, if you still have your Blissful running shoes, I would say they're still pretty great, but they have made some improvements and some changes that we'll talk about in the next shoe. Also, the Blissful running shoe was designed for running. So I'm personally not a runner, but I do find them very comfortable for walking, standing, and adventuring around New York City. Next up, the Blissful 2. Now, this is the next evolution of this shoe. And specifically, this pair has different laces even than other Blissful 2 running shoes, because this was the Lunar New Year collection. I love these. I've actually kept them more for indoor, and I use them at the gym. So I find that the difference between the Blissful 1 and 2 is that the 2 felt a little bit more tight and secure on the upper, and I feel like even my toes in the toe box don't move as much. They're still very comfortable, but I do feel like this one kind of holds me in a little bit more secure at the ankles as well. That's just me, personal fit. I have a size 9 foot, and I wear size 9 across all of Lululemon's shoes. I still find these super bouncy and comfortable for walking and running. Honestly, it's a really great shoe. I like to wear it to the gym. Reasons you might want to get this one if you have the Blissful 1 is that this one I feel like is a little bit more secure on the top. Although I do believe this one's being phased out as well. So if you can still snag them, go for it. But you might be out of luck too, and this one's on its way out. Just for funsies, these are my Blissful 2 that I actually bedazzled for the Taylor Swift concert. I went to Miami night 2, and I really love these shoes, but I actually wore through them a lot. So one thing about the running shoes from Lululemon, except for one pair, none of them are waterproof. So I definitely got caught in the rain wearing these ones before, and because I just felt like overall the shoe had kind of lived its life, I decided to bedazzle it. So these are them, they're cute, but just keep that in mind. Next in line is Beyond Feel running shoe. So even though it's not technically the same name, I would say that the Beyond Feel running shoe is the new replacement for the original Blissful. Huge differences on this one. I think this one has a much chunkier heel and it's way bouncier. I feel like when I'm walking in these, I just want to kind of skip. Like they're very, very bouncy, very cushiony. They also do not have that sort of tight upper and tight toe box. So when my toes are in this one, I feel like they flare up way higher. When I wiggle my toes, they flare up way higher than the Blissful 2. So if you're looking at these side by side as well, because of this super chunky heel, I literally stand taller if you were to check them side by side. Beyond Feel running shoe is where the running shoe from Lululemon is going, I anticipate. Highly recommend it. If you've only ever had the Blissful 1, definitely something to consider if you are trying them on in store. And while I don't think it's available anymore, this is the Blissful 1 Winter. I absolutely love this shoe. I feel like it actually has a little bit more structure to it. They also have a little bit of a water repellent fabric feature to them. So that's why they're meant to be winter Blissful, because they are supposed to resist water, and I do find that. I hope we see more Beyond Feel running shoe winter in the future. Speaking of waterproof, this is the only, for the moment, waterproof shoe from Lululemon. This is the Beyond Feel running shoe waterproof. First of all, this color, stunning. Second of all, they really are waterproof. I have tested these. I have them in black as well, and I have worn those ones out in the winter. They feel amazing. Now, they do feel a bit tighter. They don't have that sort of looseness that I was talking about, the Beyond Feel running shoe. It does feel a little tighter in the upper and toe box, but honestly, it's got the chunky, bouncy heel, which I love, and it's just so much nicer to have something that's waterproof when you're going out, especially in New York City. It gets wet, and if there's snow, it turns to slush very quickly. So it's a really great running shoe. I am not a runner. I do not run marathons, but I do think that you would be very happy to have these in the winter weather. All right, so everything up until now has been a running shoe designed for running. Next up, the Charge Feel series. This is the Charge Feel 1 Low. Keep that in mind because there's also a mid version. They are designed for workouts and running. So if you're someone who maybe is a casual runner, but you like to wear shoes to the gym, shoes to class, I would recommend the Charge Feel running shoe or workout shoe, because the Charge Feel is really versatile. It does not feel stiff in the upper or the ankle. There's a little bit of looseness, like I said, when you wiggle your toes in the toe box, but also they're not as chunky of a heel. And I do find that they are springy, but again, not too bouncy. So this is a really great in-between shoe if you're someone who does cardio dance, if you're someone who does workouts at the gym and you don't feel like you need that full support of a running shoe. My preference is actually for the Charge Feel mids. Out of the Charge Feel, I prefer the mids because I really like the style of having them come up to the ankle. This is the Charge Feel Mid 1. The bottom of the shoe feels very much the same as the Charge Feel 1, but because of this sort of ankle boot portion, I do feel like it made my ankles feel a little more secure while still very flexible and agile, able to move. Definitely a good shoe for dancing, for working out. I did wear these walking around New York City, and I did feel over time, because they're not as sort of thick as the Blissful or the Beyond Feel, my feet did get a little bit more tired walking around the city. But stylistically, this is one of my faves. Charge Feel Low Winter. This is a really cool shoe because it's got reflective details on the sides, but just like the Blissful Winter, I feel like they had water resistance but not waterproof. Still a flexible shoe, versatile shoe, could be used for working out, but because they're winter, it's probably best worn outside in the winter months if you're doing any kind of physical activity or you want to wear them for a really long time. Super comfortable, a great shoe. Charge Feel 2 Low. Now, this shoe really got an upgrade. I feel like the heel has a little bit more support and the upper and the toe box are a little bit more firm, so it's not as loosey-goosey. And overall, really great shoe. I think I would feel more secure wearing these for a longer amount of time, and the soles of my feet would be more comfortable walking on the streets of New York. but it's overall a workout shoe and running shoe. I'd still wear it for workouts. Chargefield 2 got another upgrade with the mids. So this is the Chargefield 2 mid. This dip in the ankle, stylistically, is a little strange to me because I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of having that sort of ankle protection, in my opinion. But if it really is just for show and they're not really thinking about the secureness of your ankle, I mean, I guess it's fine. But it's good, but I don't know. The Chargefield Low 2 or the Chargefield Mid 2 are way closer in style and feel for that purpose. But I say this now, side by side here. Chargefield Low versus Chargefield Mid, there is so much more cushioning in this shoe. I am feeling it. The cushioning right here, I'm having to squeeze it in between my fingers like this. And this one is just thin, 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 thin until you get to here. But down here, it's still not as thick as this. So this one has a way better heel. If you have any issues with your ankles, the Chargefield Low actually feels way more secure than the Chargefield Mids in the second edition. Just discovering that with you right now. And you might have guessed it because this is new. This is the Chargefield 3. We have huge changes. This shoe is basically unrecognizable. It's very, very different. It almost has like a split sole situation going on here because the sole really comes in. And I love that because I have high arches and I do feel the support with it. The tread on the bottom is different. I think it's got a way better grip. It has lots of breathable mesh on top. Now, it does not have a tongue. It resembles more the Chargefield Mid, that it's sort of a one continuous piece. The heel feels a lot more secure, and it looks like they took the cushioning idea from the previous version of the Low, Chargefield Low 2, because it does have this really squishy part here by your ankle. When I tried this on, I remember thinking to myself, oh, why is the shoe coming away from my foot? And then I realized it's because there's actually this inside cushioning that is basically pushing it further away. The outside of the shoe is further away because of this extra cushioning. So I didn't mind it. I just kind of wondered if it didn't fit me properly. And then I realized, no, that's just how it's supposed to fit. So great new addition of this shoe. I love the new details. The logos are also really adorable. And the word mark on the back has a new lace, very different, much chunkier. Overall, a great versatile workout and running shoe. Strong feel. This is a workout shoe that is really meant for training, not high impact. Now, truth be told, I actually did wear these to a fitness class that they're not intended for, but I think it worked well. I wore them to a trampoline fitness class. And at this trampoline fitness class, they recommended that we wear something flat, and that is the perfect description of the strong feel. So they definitely don't have huge arches or anything like that. They're meant to be worn not for running or even really a high impact fitness class. Think weightlifting, think training. So overall, I don't wear these ones as often as I wear my Beyond Feel running shoe because they're not really intended for walking, running, working out, for anything high impact. And that's more similar to what I do because my workouts are either going to need a running shoe or my workouts require bare feet because I teach bar classes. And that is very similar to Pilates, yoga, all of those things. And when you're on a yoga mat, you're usually in bare feet. So for my purposes, I don't wear them as often. But if I was going to the gym and working with weights and not doing anything cardio, this would be great. And we're nearing the end. This is Lululemon's first casual shoe, the Cityverse. Now this Cityverse is the original and it only came out in a few colors, but overall I really enjoyed it. One thing of warning about this shoe is that the tongue of the shoe kind of twists on me. I've tried different ways of lacing them up and to me it does just kind of twist a little bit. It's not too annoying, but it is what it is. It's a casual shoe. It does have some support. I feel comfortable in these and I could walk long distances in them. But again, I'm not going to wear these to go to the gym. Just not that kind of shoe. So casual, cute, Cityverse. If you're asking me for my preference though, This is the Cityverse canvas shoe. One, the canvas material kind of stops the tongue of the shoe from moving around, and I just think they look cooler. So I tend to wear these more to Broadway shows and going out and walking around New York City. It's very similar to the Cityverse original style. For support, still very, very comfortable. I can even feel the heel that I'm holding them by. So cushioned, feels really nice. But they're not gonna have super high arches or anything, arch support. They are a comfortable, casual shoe. I'm not sure if I'm forgetting any other variations of these shoes. I think that there was a merino wool blend Beyond Field running shoe that came out this year. I did not get those. As you can see, I have so many shoes from Lululemon that was not something high on my list that I personally needed, but they definitely could be perfect for you, especially if you go out in the winter running. Thank you so much for watching. Again, remember, if you're shopping anything at Lululemon, don't forget to use my link. It helps support me in the form of a small commission. And I hope that you're enjoying this content. Let me know if you have any other ideas for content that you are really dying to see me make, and I'll try my best to get to it. But I also have lots of ideas of my own, and they're gonna be coming out slowly to you. So, love you all. Thanks for subscribing. See you next time.